다리기 다 추드 내가 그냥 남아서 팽에 상마 라 안에 데 그냥 페발라 가수당 되네 마세베 상마 그냥 남아서 연결 투보던 가보시라 존스
To everyone who has been able to come for the teachings this time, His Eminence would like to extend warm greetings, and for everyone whom His Eminence has met before, he is very pleased to see you all again.
되네 다른기 네게 추든디 첼라 아니 조 되네 셰야데 되네 조그산지 좀 된데 다 송베게 되네 추 되네 삼진미 켜봐 요리 되네 텐주 인두 되네 텐주 창마 되네 가서고래 되네 둘자 나고단 튼바 제네 되네 카시 되네 장돈 따르도 송바당 되네 카시 되네 녜돈 따르도 송바 제네 안에 단도르나 되네 둘제기 삼바던 튼베고네 송요레스 대인도 되네 다른기 되네 나란주 셰야도 조 되네 산지기 최 탐지기 되네 송베기 닝보암 되네 녜던기 안에 초스톡바기 레스
Shakyamuni Buddha has taught inconceivable number of teachings, and all of these teachings that are classified into also many classifications. In essence, it comes down to presenting direct meaning or relative truth and the meaning of certainty or that of absolute truth. And there is no teaching that does not fall into either of these two meanings or two truths. Among the two truths, in accordance with the mental capacities or receptivities of people, either one of them is emphasized more. This particular teaching, the particular teaching that His Eminence will conduct this time, deals more with presenting the teachings from the meaning of certainty point of view or from absolute truth point of view.
테레 테네 디카르레스나 테네 조 나란조 테네 데워식베기 닝부템바티 레스 테인두 베나 조부산지 좀 된데 그다 용자라 테네 추주콜로렘바 숨도 걸웨기 제바레스 용수 작발란 직된 튜낭게 용자라 추주콜로렘바 숨도 걸은 제바레 테인두 테네 레 당부바 테네 두르자 테네 왕부 탐에게 나올라 테네 담바시라 소베게 추주콜로 당부도 걸은제 테네 다가나 신기 왕본 랭키 테네 나올라 tene tanda te ngaran so chuju kholo niba tene sinyi mebe chuju kholo do ko wanze tene wangbo rab ke tene namji ge chedola tene kathama tene ngedong ge ningbu gen dode tene dawr shik ge ningbu temba tene sungbar zene tene sungba indu tene thareng ge kapsu shebra chawati tene kathame ge de gongbatres.
In general, or what is based on historical information, the Buddha had turned the wheel of the Dharma 3 times. In accordance with our understanding, what we know of. And these 3 major turnings of the wheel of the Dharma, in accordance with specifically 3 types of mental capacities of people. In connection with those who are of lesser mental capacities or inferior mental capacities, through the training of the first wheel of the Dharma, when the Buddha taught the 4 Noble Truths.
So ngaran jigden ge tunang ge tarto ngaran tanda nyamsunyo shimba kayin bate sinyi meba chu tamjerang shimma joba sinyi meba.
And so this first turning of the wheel of the Dharma is based on our own experience as persons in the world, based on our experiences of our lives in the world, very much. And then the second turning of the wheel of the Dharma, which focuses on the people of middle capacities of mind, which concerns the essential nature of experience or things from the point of view of uncompounded or lacking true existent nature of the world, of experience. And during the third turning of the wheel of the Dharma, then the main teaching was based on showing how beings inherently possessed potential for enlightenment or that of Buddha nature. So, showing of the Buddha nature that is inherent in all.
How tindes chane songbare te indu te sonza da bena da kase ore tene change nisu dubege chue tindes songbares te indu da bena da dinane change nigi nane tanda da ngaran su ngedön ki tene kapsula so tene sanje ki songbege kati tene jinju kheba chu ki ndal yong ge kapsula 하고송아 되네 뭐데 동이 기른 바승에지다 되네 배전 사람 기남샤 승에지게 니수체가 요래 되네 뭐데 동이 기른 바티 되네 단당하라서 나가서나 곰불루줍게 되네 마 쟤네 되네 오메기 따왔다도 때라 팜네 되네 뭐데 동이 기른 바티 되네 베나산지기 지단게 무스 때네 저 탐제랑신 마주바를 동반이를 치 동반이를 난 동반이 지난이가 동반이 레스네 동이 주루라서 봐 송네 되네 베나 다티 조 산지기 무스 송요래 디 곰불루르게 되는 거란저 독스전에 다조 택바침비 그 따와디 양타고지 때나 파버는 제버래 되네 예나야 되네 다 배든 사람게 남샤스 되네 되게 되네 배나 가세고래 무엇도 땜배 돈이게 rem바 되게 되네 배나 가세고래게 배배게 돼 사람게 남샤 돼 되네 다 야섭 잠방 건보 단단한 좀 마음배게 가서 남대 가서 남대 nga봐 전에 야섭 잠방 건보게 되네 잠배 추된 nga스 전에 din 나네자 되네 단단한 소 규라마당 되네 다가나 신기 단다데 시싱군도 gen라 소베게 되네 규라메게 갑솔라 데워식베게 닝부여바데 되네 시싱군도 gen게 갑솔라 되네 대기 되네 장주선베게 되네 택바침베 살람게 남샤 텐수 송네 되네 싸워는 제네 단단가랑 수다 근데 송바레 대인도 대손자 되네 다른 게 나란주 셰브르 차베게 세제게 되네 된다 닝부티 또 배든 사람게 남샤 대양 되네 나란주 가서랬음 대월식베게 닝부티 심제 탐제라 유베게 고르트레스
So
단대도 산제게 까든 저렇게 갑솔라
through these different turnings of the wheel of the Dharma, from both relative as well as absolute point of view, the wisdom of the teachings is presented. And the particular teaching that we are focusing on concerns the pointing of the meaning of certainty, or from the point of view of absolute truth. And in presenting the essence of the teachings of the Dharma, the Mahayana teachings, there's two ways it is presented. One is directly pointing out the essential nature of the teachings with regard to what is the proper view, and this is done through presenting the different stages or different aspects of emptiness nature, or lacking true existent nature of all phenomena. And that line comes when the great many teachers, and who thus focus on the teachings of the Buddha, presented whatever commentaries and maintained whatever unbroken lineages of the presentation of the teaching, presenting the emptiness nature of things. Such essential Mahayana teaching comes down from Nagarjuna. The line comes down from Nagarjuna and goes. Then all the different teachings, the Madhyamika teachings, the 6 different groups of Madhyamika teachings, which explores the 16 different aspects, for instance, of emptiness. So, there is that tradition or that line of teaching. And the other line of the teachings, which is the hidden meaning, stages of path line of teachings. And which, that particular line of the teaching coming from the Bodhisattva Maitreya, or known as also the Regent Maitreya, the future Buddha, or the next historical Buddha. And these teachings on the stages of the path through the hidden meaning is presented
사람 기남샤 조
so which is based on the different stages of path and different stages of realization or levels of realization, and presented through what is known as the 5 teachings of accumulations of teachings of Maitreya. And among them, the main point or the essential point is presenting of how all beings, without exception, is inherently endowed with the potential to experience enlightened mind or Buddha nature, such as through such major works as the Tibetan text known as Gyulama, which is Uttara Tantra Sastra, and also another major work which is known as Sherchen
원도 예
Sherchen Ngontok Gen is another major text which concerns
전주선배 사람 기남샤 전주 스틱바침비 전주선배 사람 기남샤 땀바
which concerns the different stages of the path and the realizations of the bodhisattvas within the Mahayana tradition.
다디 춘배게 되는 흉아 다 잠비 최대 응아스전에 되는 통면에만 유바지 요래.
So there is what is known as the 5 different sets of the teachings of Maitreya, and the line of which comes down from the great master Togme or Asanga.
텐데스 전에 다 너나 되네 배낭아랑 점링라 용스 작배 기타 가서 그래 싱다 첨부니 솔스도 되네 자신 쩨베 솔 사무따웨 규바탕 자신 쩨베 솔스 전에 사무따웨 규바티 단다티 가란소 근데 돈이 그런 바땡라 파바 검불루룹네 마 규바탕 되네 자신 쩨베 솔스도 되네 단당가라도 자습 잠방 공부당 되네 통면에 마 규바 되네 단당가라서 대월식배 닝부템바도 전주선배 사람게 남샤 템바 다 뒷니기 콘수 되는 가라서 택바침비고 다 취해 탐진 누구고요. 그래서
So in essence, what is popularly known as the 2 great chariots, and which is
가라서 택바침볼 돼요. 봐다. 싱다
within the Mahayana context, there are 2 noble or great chariots, which is the chariot of the deep view, which is with regards to presenting the proper view through the emptiness nature of things, the line that comes down from Nagarjuna. And then the other one being that of the line of the lineage of the vast action, which is through Maitreya and Asanga, the line that comes down. So these also are known as the line of the deep view and vast action.
텐데스레 되네 대인도 되네 대니가 단 너나 되네 대답이 싱다 첨부니 솔 니가 디 되네 알아서 찍도 저와티 하고서 찍도 저와티 되네 변하다 단다 또 뭐된 동니기 단다 름바티게 된라 파바티게 또 샤르게 차도 또 어떤 거요래 되네 배든 사람 근남샤 대또 템바티게 되네 탑 닝지 첨부티 전에 너나 탑단 샤르 숭둔 죽바 하고서 세나야레 다가나 신기 살동 숭둔 죽베게 더 강인바티 되네 내로도 또 버세바레스 하고서
Nija Dhamati.
다음에고 디 bana gyubani tiga kan toku yorasana sadon sungdun jugbeke tönt toku yores.
So, through these two lineages, one emphasizing on the lacking true existent nature or emptiness nature of all things, that lineage emphasizing on the wisdom aspect, and then the stages of the path realization lineage focusing on the skillful means of compassion.
Salwa kichati.
Or from that point of view, luminosity, soul, or clarity. So the point is that through presenting the two, we can begin to have insight into inseparability of wisdom and skillful means, or the inseparability of wisdom, or emptiness and luminosity.
Tendesres. Te indu tetabuge sardon sungdun jugbati kareresana. Tene sardon sungdun jugbati tandangaranso loso. Hasmo jubati niam. Tene ti nyamnen chebala tene salwachetan tongbachik sardo. Tene chine shargoba chikdang. Tene mixege sardon sungdun jugbati mixege ngaranso hakoachik nezu kayamares. Sardon sungdun jugbeki tönde sardon sungdun jugbati kanresana. Tene 단단 가라서 대월식배 닝부 텔레 로스 출바지게 가야마 대월식배 닝부 데 코란랑 사동송도 주바레스 대월식배 닝부 암셈 데 코란 듬세 텔라 때네 tene deshik ningbo ka thama de dewarshik be ningbo temba thi ngedön gendo pena karre segobe jumsen de khana sana tanda ngana so jachembo cheya ngon do churoya thi sadon sungdun jukba sana ya re daga nanshin ki tene tawa khase gore ta tanda ngana su sheya ge ngoden tongni geren ba beden sanam ge napsha tindu sheba mato tene dewarshik be ningbo khoran ge ngodi she de ge yore tele loso churba jege sarwada tongbo sungdun jukba khaya yo mares de sonza 대식 닝보 땜바티 되네 베나 까타마레 세고베 좀센데 녜데용 까레 세고베 좀센 된다 되레스.
So in this way through the proper view and presentation on the proper view as well as the proper stages of the path and the realization, coming together of which inseparability of emptiness and luminosity inseparability of emptiness and luminosity is not something newly found because of having treaded on the study of the view and the stages of the path, therefore something newly obtained or newly found. The inseparability of emptiness and luminosity is in itself a Buddha nature. The Buddha nature is inseparability of these two. And so, however we say, Buddha nature, essence of enlightenment, nature of mind, or the inseparability of emptiness and luminosity is exactly saying the same. And that which is inseparability of these two is not a newly found, nor is it something that has to be newly invented or created, as it is the very nature of our mind.
가세고래 믹스에게 담아서 알아서 마소나 때다 마소나 믹스에게 다 학호 거봐 지네 학호 거봐 찍당 때가다 마소나 찍 디스커버 제고야지 여러분 텐덴다보다 텐데게 말해요 배나 디 코라랑 단다티 대월식 베닝 코라랑 게 닐로드레스 얘나야 근데 시에 람게 닐라 다 배나 코랑 감삼 요레 시에 람데빈네 감삼 요레데 얘나야 가나 디 코라를 스틸라 때네 대월식 베닝 부터 땜바 까타마 임비 좀 생에 된가 임비 좀 센터레스
So basically, whatever the views, different stages of views, or the path and the realization that is presented, it is another way of simply introducing to what is inherently so. It's not saying anything new or different. It is presenting the possibility to be able to acknowledge what is inherently true. And the reason, the showing of the essence, or rather the showing of the Buddha nature, the reason that this is referred to as the third and the final turning of the wheel of the Dharma by the Buddha. And the reason that this is referred to as presenting the teachings from the absolute point of view is because inseparability, through knowing the emptiness nature of things, and through trading the different stages of the path, the inseparability of the two comes down to manifesting one's inherent potential. So from that which is ultimate or absolute. So from that point of view, the final or the teaching on the absolute truth. The most important point here is, while in order for us to unfold our potentials, the understanding of the different stages of views and application of the different means or the stages of the path is necessary. While it is necessary, and only to effect, but only to effect inherent potential to manifest. The application of the path does not affect us discovering something new that has not been so before. For instance, in order for us to be able to mine a treasure, first we have to find the treasure, the mine. First we have to discover the mine itself, and then find the treasure. So right now here we're not talking about having to discover a mine so that we could then unearth the treasures. Talking about what is inherently so as far as the nature of mind.
텐데스 레티니 줌센 텔라 때네 dorna tene lam ngaranso pena khanche che dreba yinayang tene lam dreba tege ngondo jurju ti tene dewarshi be ningbo te rama to shenle losu jurba chege tene pena ngondo jurju ta sanjes chene shen pena sanjes chene mixe kanya yo mares te yindu ti tene dewarshi be ningbo ti tene teddabe dewarshi be ningbo ti tene rosinje 탐제게 귤라 tene bet 가서고래 tene 레레 신도라 rosinje 탐제게 귤라 레 신도 여바 다 수산지 숭버레 대인도 tene 대 똑버체 바데 단도는 레스.
So
베나다 산지게 람까 까탕 람 간제지게 톤에 드바 얘나 대레 로스 줄버지게 되네 도자지다 대래 로스 줄바지게 레부 톱주지다 대래 로스 줄바지게 산지게 공방 톱주지 가야요 말했어 디 단단 가나도 로 심진 탐지게 줄라 네 배때 가서 우리 예버드렸어 뒷담 받으래
whatever different stages or different stages of the path we are going to study and practice, whatever different aspects of the teachings of the Buddha we are going to follow, practice, in terms of view as well as experience, practice. The only purpose, the whole total point of the exclusive purpose of
the
exclusive purpose of the point is to effect unfolding of our potential, Buddha nature, or to effect a complete, full manifestation of our inherent enlightened mind. From what angle, with what words, through what reference meanings it may be presented, the teachings may be presented. What it comes down to essentially is unfolding of the potential. And there is nothing beyond that. And experience of Buddhahood is also not separate or different from complete unfolding of one's potential. And this Buddha nature that we can manifest totally, unfolding of which can be brought about, this potential, or Tathagata Garbha, is inherent in the mind of all beings, or is the nature of all beings. As it is said in teachings, that the potential to experience enlightened mind, the Buddha nature, pervades all beings, meaning each and every sentient being without exception, individually has such potential inherently.
텐데스 인도 테네 텔라 테네 다 배낭에 든기 감 예든기 너데 인스전에 송네 테네 배나티 하코고야디 개천부레스 디 하코 마고네 배나 데월식베가 닝보디 예바데 하마고 원더부지기 토네 냠슬렘바이나 배나 다 산지가 공부하시 책점지가 토네 산지가 공부 두고 있어야지 신경여레스 뭐네 산지가 공부 가르임 받은 거 말씀받을 식바레스 마체 베케 배나 가란도 딕바샤가 예스가 요레스 딕바샤 고베 좀센티 딕바 가발라 딕바 요레 딕베가 칸라 딕바 요레 딥사 코랑 뭐 말씀받지라 딕바샤가 주 가려 요레스 하고송아 되네 다가 나신게 개와 드루브 요레 개와 드루바 티케 배나 칸라 팽게 요레 배나 시자원이네 매번 더버지레스 대송자 좀세 텔라 때네 나란소 배나 당보 대월식베기 닝부 예바데 하고 고야 좀세디 개선부터레스
This teaching on ultimate meaning or meaning of certainty is absolutely important to understand. Knowing of this is of absolute importance in that sense. Because without the knowledge that Buddha nature is inherent in one or in all beings, then to speak of experience of Buddhahood remains mere words. As far as words go, one knows attaining of Buddhahood. But as far as meaning goes, what it really means to attain Buddhahood, one doesn't know without this understanding. For instance,
마신 받sam지 마체 베게 텔로 lokpa yungu 요레스. 마시 받sam지 마체 베게 텔로 고아 lokpa 포니 아니 베나 트루바를 조지샤니 트루베게 트루바 속이 요레스.
So without knowing what attains Buddhahood, then talking of Buddhahood becomes irrelevant. What is it that attains Buddhahood? And then another aspect is we talk about the importance of surrendering negativities or the purifying of defilements. And then we wouldn't know what negativity we need to become purified of. What is being obscured? What is it that is obscured that we need to unravel? And furthermore, with regard to accumulation of wholesome activities. For what reason do we accumulate wholesome activities or perform virtuous actions? What is it that is affected by wholesome action? Manifesting of what? Unfolding of what? So, from that point of view, without understanding of Buddha nature, without understanding of what or who therefore experiences enlightened mind, when the recognition of that potential has taken place, then simply merely uttering words that concerns the Dharma, such as the wish to experience or obtain Buddhahood, not only is one not sort of getting to the point, not only it lacks the proper understanding that it could create further confusion on already existing confusion. Not only are we confused in terms of unenlightened mind, but our notion of what is enlightenment, also we have conceptions of it which is irrelevant to the nature of our potentials.
Tene matse peke pena tangaranso kasegore ta tikpa chembyoge chöla tene tongbani ti tene pemas shege yores. Chidu tene tongbani seade pena ta tanda 대식 닝부기 나란서 대월식 베게 닝부 디 하마곤 베나디 하마고나 베나 똥바니 세야디 아니 강 똥야디 강 똥고 바다 베나다 똥바니 세야디 치점지기 제로 근거부 마주바 점지로 똥바니 세게요 말바 똥바니게 내로디 나셈 그 또고 요래 제가 강게 또 그래 또주 강래 똥게 베나 된수지다 가세고래 tene dan tongbani to sin to ya mebe chirwas desonda jumsen tendela tene ane tanda deworshik bege ningbo di benata deworshik be ningbo senayare tene sanje tobrungi joam nuba di bena chine mago bachig tene sosugi jula ngondu jurtuba tene ki nuba di ngaran zum simjen 탐지의 jula yobadi hakogo야 di 개천부레스.
And another point is the subject or the issue of emptiness is a very sort of big or popular in that way subject. And so without some basic understanding of Buddha nature, then one is completely short of the understanding of emptiness. And one's understanding of emptiness would be limited to nihilistic point of empty, meaning nothing whatsoever, nothingness. And
this edu kansiga yorasana ngöbu tongbege tongbatel kogurayistene.
So, which means, nihilistic point of view, emptiness means the absence of material object emptiness. Absence of materiality emptiness. And so when we talk about emptiness, for instance, in the Buddhist teaching, we are not talking simply or exclusively about outer phenomenal world, for instance, only. For example, who knows emptiness nature of things? Who recognizes, who experiences? And empty of what, for instance? So, without the proper understanding of, again, Buddha nature, one's understanding of emptiness would be completely limited.
Pena chashana khandechresena pena tangaranso umege tawala tene kashi pena kashi rangdong seya sureta tene rangdong tene kashi pena tawachila shendong seya ji ta rangdong de shendong seya sto desong zang indu rangdong yinanda shendong yinanda pena rang khang ge dong gure ta deor shigbe ge ningbo de kuran ha magona rang dong goya ji yoro de khang dong gure shen dong se de shen khang la shen ge dong gure de kan min do was se zang pena de shi ningbo de ge ne tur de so so yang ta ba ji ha ko wa yina rang khang dong go yoro se na deor shigbe ningbo de Korang ngo buma jubena rang korang ngo dong. Shen ge kang dong go yor sen dewa shik be ning bo tela shen lobru ji chime dong sene. Kwa yor bas. Te me ba ji la tene tawa pe mas be ja chen bu ji shen rang dong shen do sen na te kan min do was. Je zang de re tene ma che be ge mixe ge ngaran cho ta be na changma zo de kiran zo nang ba sang je be ge chu nyam su len ya dang tene kebar tu ngaranzo 단다티 다 티과 챔비고 추 냠수 레야디 가르세나 tene shendaagi kyanan zuge interest kaya marabas tene semji nelu de yanta bo tokbar cheba de reyes jaba semji nelu de tokbar cheba re semji nelu de tokbar chebe ge lamcho de gyurba de khanesena ta ngaranzo bana gaju de bu chashana to chagje chembu reyes indu tene 대식 닝보 디메 예메 하마고 발라 테네 샘지 네루 또 착제 쳔비고 냠네 공근이었으나 짠 거면 매버려였어. 식호라 짜원이네 매버려였어. 김세 된데라 때네. 때네 대월식 베게 닝부티. 나랑 심지 탐제, 나랑 소스 탐제 기준을 이해받아 하고 거야 돼. 계속 그래.
In the Madhyamika tradition, for instance, two major or main view known as Rangtong, emptiness of self, and Xiantong view, emptiness of others. Without some understanding of Buddha nature, the notion of emptiness of self and emptiness of others would not be able to make sense. But when one has some understanding of Buddha nature, then the nature of the essential nature of Tathagata Garbha, or in Tibetan Deshin Nyingpo, is lacking true existence. So in this way, emptiness of entity or emptiness of self, that's its nature. And the nature is lacking true existence. And emptiness of others is and liberated of obscurations, lacking inherent true or self-existence, therefore emptiness of self, and inherently lacking obscurations, therefore emptiness of others. And that is the nature, the essential, so absolute nature of Tathagata Garbha. And so if one does not therefore have some understanding of this, then one cannot come to terms with the proper view. Now, His Eminence feels the reason that you are all involved with the practice and the study of the Dharma, the interest that you have in the practice and study of the Dharma is, His Eminence would like to believe, that is, to be able to understand and to recognize the nature of your mind. He takes this as your purpose of involvement, and there is no other reason, and there shouldn't be any other reasons. And so, given that, if one is to effect the actual manifestation of inherent potential to experience enlightened mind without knowing Buddha nature as to what it is, how it is that we all have inherently. Without that, then whatever pursuit one makes in the way of practice of the Dharma, one's efforts would not bear results, basically. So, practice of Buddha Dharma in general, and the practice of the Mahayana path in particular, the point of the purpose of practice of such teachings, and specifically we who follow the Kagyu tradition, the lineage, follow therefore the Mahamudra lineage, practice without knowing, having understanding and knowing Buddha nature, even if you are working with the Mahamudra path or lineage and practice, enlightened mind will not happen, because you don't have an understanding and appreciation and a recognition of the ground for being able to appreciate and integrate such practice.
Tana tsawe ki ta thari sheya ki thari thi dundan di ki ringal sheya ki tsawa ti ta tewar shikwe ki nyingbu ki tani nyingbu tempa re tani thayang tani deshik nyingbu tempa siddhu khansi ki yor sana tani tewar shikwe nyingbu sunje thamje ki juu la yoba tang kante yoba tang tani thi pena ngoma shiba la tani kante truba tang tani ngoshe na pena thi pena Koran rang ngoshe ba khan yinba di tani stanji ki kompansinare kanyin batemba la sobe ta tani re te yindu tani zo te tani jat tanda kondu sheba na shi jatsab chambang gombe ki sungbeke ta tani ta stanji ki sungbeke kandabu cha shaba yina tani ndo tingzi gyalgo tang tani ndo langar shekba la sobeke ngedung ndo tu namsu la sung yo re tani te ki tani gongban jawar cheba tenju ki chane shaba yina tene da jasab chambang gombe ke tene gyula matang tene chambe chode ngala sobe ke gone tene temper zeba res te dabu ke tene kadang tenju chema tenju temper zeba ti tene pyo kanjing ke jongla tene yongsu pewaran zeba ti tene zo ngaran zo takunda ushuno tang tene keparu tu tene karma ba tene ranjung doji sumba ranjung dorji ke tene pena tsawe ke tane sanje ke kathame ke gongbati yantak bar tane tawar nze ne tane pena dan pyo kanjing ke jongso la tane ta tawar nze bar re te indi thari kongi sungbe ki tane nyingbu tembe ki tenju se ya tane ti kone tenge thari tunrachik tukshe yins
So, during this time or this week, we are together. His Eminence would like to speak on showing Buddha nature, or showing the essence, showing Buddha nature, meaning how to understand that each and every one of us, without exception, are endowed with Buddha nature, and how to know and recognize that is so, and what obscures us, or what confusion impairs us from recognizing, experiencing our inherent nature. And how recognizing of our inherent nature, to say that we have recognized inherent nature or recognized Buddha nature, is the same as saying experience of Buddhahood. When you recognize then that is not different or separate from experience of enlightened mind. And so on this particular teaching, which concerns the final turning of the wheel of the Dharma, there are a number of major works on that, such as one major sutra, Do Tingzin Gyalpo, or the Samadhi Raj Sutra, and another one known as Do Langri Shekpa, and then the 5 collections of the teachings of Maitreya, specifically Gyulama, the Uttara Tantra Sastra, and so this major work expose or point out the teachings on based on showing of the Buddha nature. And among many renowned teachers who have taken responsibility in upholding that particular lineage of the teaching of the Buddha, upholding the teaching that was presented during the final teaching of the turning of the third wheel of the Dharma, and had made the teaching available in Tibet. One
산지 좀 내내 랑게 롱기 용수가베 되네 계보 타군 다우신노당 되네 까마바 숨바란 좀 도르지.
And one who is most renowned for upholding that teaching, maintaining of that, and who is held by whose coming has been prophesied, or who is held by the prophecies of the Buddha, is Dakbun Dawe Shunu, or Gambopa, is another name for Gambopa, Dakbun Dawe Shunu. And major work, commentaries by such great teacher, and then the third Karmapa, Rangjung Dorje, and the presentation that His Eminence is making this time is based on the commentary, the very special commentary that has been made by Rangjung Dorje, the third Karmapa.
아선자 텐데스레 테네 디인데 다탄다 다른 텐데체 테네 선인의 송데 안에 되는 것 오늘 그런 토네마 라비스.
So
좋아하는 데스 따나 말해.
So His Eminence would like to present this today as an introduction, somewhat the outline, and then actually begin tomorrow. And I know we can maybe have some questions, please.
But the commentary by Dr. Dorje is a commentary on what? I didn't get that.
Pardon?
The commentary is a commentary on.
네. 사회계 산지계 되게 거는데 산지계 같다면 공부. 자와제 얘는야 테크나라는 루트 텍스트 ranjudo kurang sung barwa
Dewa de kurang sung.
jawa the ta thare ngan ngeshe thi tawe ki jamgön thai sung barwa inaya ta kongge root text sung ni thi ge gang ge kong bata wa resana sanji ka thame kong bata barwa
the root text, if you wanted to know, the root text that from which His Eminence is talking, the root text is by Rangjung Dorje, the third in the Karmapa. He put together the root text, which is
답변은 런주 도지기 또 슝슝니스 전 슝니스 요레스 대신 닝부 템바탕 남시다 이신제백 dangerous니 요레스 대루텍스 공송벌에 근데 되게 되게 공동의 칸에서나 산지기 까타메가 공부 템바레스 대워시빈 되게 되는 자바데 되는 장군으로 다 했었는데
There are two essential work by Rangjung Dorje. One is known as the Nyingbo Tempa. Some of you interested in that. Nyingbo Tempa, which is showing the essence, which is on Buddha nature by Rangjung Dorje. And the second one is known as Namshe Yishin Jepa. It's a discerning consciousness and primordial wisdom. See. And so these two major work, which are directly related to the third and the final turning of the wheel of the Dharma by the Buddha in connection, upholding further exposition or explanation. So, what Rangjung Dorje has presented is a very concise one on Buddha nature. In that way, it is a root text. But it is based on the third and the final turning of the wheel of the Dharma in accordance with the view and the teaching that the Buddha had presented. So clarifying that, to the extent there is a further clarification of that and a further elaboration of that, it becomes a commentary to the teachings of the Buddha. But it in itself is very concise and very deep. And a major commentary to that work is done by the first Jamgön Kontrül, Lord Tai. So this text, we may say the root text is by Rangjung Dorje and the commentary is by the first Jamgön Kontrül.
I want to clarify my understanding of the difference between the second turning and the third turning of the wheel of the Dharma. On the surface, it looks like there is a fundamental contradiction, wherein the second turning of the wheel says there is no true essence, whereas the third said that there are essential qualities known as Buddha nature. These essential qualities, as Eminence has defined as today, luminosity, clarity, and impermanence. And emptiness. So that on the second turning, there is no essence, and on the third, there are essential qualities that we all have, he said. That's a question I have. Now, my understanding so far in my own practice is that the second turning of the wheel concerns our relative attachment to what we imagine to be the self. Whereas the third turning of the wheel is the realization that although there is no self, there is something that is one mind. Would you ask him if there is some basic contradiction, and if my understanding so far is...
One mind?
Yes. Right. But I am confused about this. If I get it, it's the difference between relative and absolute.
Got it. Yes.
나뭘 테슬라다. 테스 시대 캬 단다 다 당부 가능서 되는 마직 디시에주다. 디시에스나다 디기 근데 컨퓨전이 매서야 된다래요. 다르기. 대손자 인도 아니 다ቻ님 팅이 되기는 되는 딘디그로 왔어. 되는 맛이 자외게 되니 간도 된데 요마레스. 베나 까타메게 추지 코드를 번이베 값으로 추 탐제라는 심만 주가 똥번이 세야데 똥번이 코라 되네 가야 매버지 그 똥번이 말레스. 하고서가 똥번이 코란라 아니 타시 베나 똥번이 코란 게 코란라 가르게 니바 요르스나 가야 머주바데 코란 동번이 기 가서 찾지기 초도만서나 초지기 되네 신이들에스 초지기 신이들 동번이 대 동번이 임발라 때네 남바 가야 망가바 차르도로마티 동번이 신이티 니 dom니 되네 오네게 남바 군지 초도네 동번이 있잖아요 디스게요 레스 티인데 티요 말때 마시네 티니 간도메 칼리칼리 아 understand 제마
So, while there is no contradiction, but as you face the problem or situation that there seems to be contradiction, so the whole point of His Eminence talking about this particular subject at this time is with the hope to point out how there is no contradiction. So if you're here for, staying here for a few days, and if you give him some chance, and maybe in the next few days we will have less and less contradiction. And
이네 다 더공 거 된다다. 더공 contradiction 마야야 된다.
And with the hopes that today you will not be bothered by contradiction. His Eminence would like to simply say this, that in the second turning of the wheel of the Dharma, emptiness nature of all things, or lacking true existent nature of all things, emptiness nature of all things, and probably it has been said many times that if emptiness is only limited to nihilistic point of emptiness, emptiness of material entity. Yeah. And then there is not much point in making, such a big issue about that emptiness. It's quite obvious, see. So, but when we talk about emptiness, there is the empty aspect of it, empty aspect, emptiness. Then there is the other aspect of emptiness. That is because of emptiness and nature of all things, unimpeded arising. The unimpeded arising or manifesting of phenomena, appearance, could at all take place because of emptiness nature of all things. So emptiness.
콘틸라다. 나가 주나 공개 동이 두비야 그 르바 차슈데 tane tender ki songare ako songwa tenjing renjung mayin be chunga yoba mayin tesir toni mayin be chunga yoba mayin nos tongba yin be dupje de khang ge zbat khang sha yar sana chö thamje tender ten chuba yin songare yumse thela tene tane tender zamji ge tene chuba re ma de thyan tham chuba me songare de songdu tender zamji le chub su de tene meba zamji le tene tender re song yo ma ba khanas na meba tene yoba yoba tene meba chen tender su de tisig
So
yöna yö deba chikche yanti meba de tin gabo mayim tindege mayimba ganda tabu mayimba.
So because the sort of the joining together of emptiness and sort of emptiness plus because of emptiness, unimpeded or unobstructed arising of phenomena put together is emptiness. And the best example or the best analogy for emptiness nature of all things is the truth of dependent arising. See, interdependent nature. Nagarjuna has pointed out there is no dharma or no phenomena that exists without interdependence, without interdependently existing. Nothing exists without interdependently existing. And so, since everything is pervaded by interdependence, everything is pervaded by emptiness. And when we talk about interdependence, dependent arising, it is not a matter of simply negation. Interdependence is not saying something doesn't exist. Because something exists, it's possible it doesn't exist. Because it doesn't exist, it's possible for it to exist. And so it is not a negation, it's not total negation, you see. So from that point of view, this, because of interdependent nature of all things, things existing interdependently, therefore nothing exists independently or inherently on its own, but that doesn't negate dependent arising of things.
Oh yeah.
I have two questions. My first question is, what is the relationship of proper understanding? You keep stressing proper understanding. What is the relationship of this to luminosity? And second question, if all human beings inherently, potentially are luminous, what interfered with that luminosity to spontaneously arise?
I think it's not common concept.
만스테시님이 예배도 때문에 문은 그냥 무지 하고 있었더니 개침버렸어요. 중요하라. 때들 때는 빼면서 문에 하고 있었 개침버렸으니야. 시우치 송태나 때. 걔는 때 살라티. 때 시우 시우치 송태도스. 나한테 간절히 나왔어. 뉴스라더니 때 랑신케더니 아니 장마을 줄이야더니 이 도면이 여다하다 랑신 살와이 메이나스로 티 강기더니야 살와더니 현지에더니 살마요 지는가 강기티 바르젤나스
딱고난 tilada.
강다 강이나 답나
Pena
양고고라
당보 대월식백이 닝부티 순진 탐지기 줄로 예버리 양타고 하고고를 세야티 가르레세나 Pena 단단 가란소
예지스로
매 단단 가란소게 낭버 산지베게 되네 Pena 타두 산지기 공방 톱 세야티 지 가세고래 되네 파 가세고래 다 릭베게 줍샤반다고 직당 되네 다가는 신기 지 파사르도 서샤반다고 된대 말이에요. 되네 마란투 그 산지기 공방 톱 세야티 자외게 되네 단단 마란투게 답변아 주 마란투게 주라 되네 주암 네바 포슴 소바 칸이 여바티 되네 응원도 줄바티 되네 테레스 다 디다 되네 쿠란 저완이바티니 간진 자기야 되네 디 하마고와 베나 칸체네 디고요 그랬으나 현다 칸게 디고요 말에 베나 단다티 베나 현지게 말이바 현지게 유두 대월식 베닝보다 현지게 베나 가란스 유두 텔라 칸게 디고요 현지게 말이바 디고요 현지게 말이바세야 칸하르스나 되네 인생키 나와 암파자티게 디고요 그랬어 되네 인생 텔라 인생 베나와 텔라 가두 초스나양 텔 때는 용 그랬어 근데 마시자에 그 상이 디고로 당가라서 대인도 너나 산지가 공방생에 간제 인바다 멤버다 함 마고거든 직체 톱그레 마레 삼백에 줍투그레 마레 삼백 소소소소도 이심에 된솔에 도버체바 될라 너나 디레스 가서 우리 다 약부지 하고 그랬어야 돼 소소소소 이치고 봐
Again, because of what we will be talking about, discussing in the days to come, as Eminence hopes the understanding would to some degree become clearer and sort of coming together. Anyway, with regard to, for instance, knowing Buddha nature, or knowing that we are all, without exception, each one is endowed with the potential to experience enlightened mind. And therefore, in the Buddhist teachings, when we talk about how people or beings can experience enlightened mind or Buddhahood, when the possibility of experience of Buddhahood is presented, it is not a sort of an ideology, you see, that has been put together and that is being pushed at. And with the hopes that this ideology, which seems so realistic or whatever, that people could therefore appreciate it, is not the point. And the saying that beings can experience Buddhahood, or beings have the potential to experience Buddhahood, is not just simply a matter of saying, in that sense, or a matter of belief. That is the way beings are so. And the way beings are so, and the kind of potentials that you have, without exaggeration, without distortion, what you are and what you have, you must know it well, so that you would be free from distortion and exaggeration and speculation of sort. So when we normally talk of experience of enlightenment, of Buddhahood, and the question, of course, arises, how can I experience Buddhahood? And then not knowing what kind of potential one has, there is all kinds of confusion around it as to how difficult it could be. So how far away one is from reaching that kind of goal. And because of all kinds of religious beliefs and customs, then one is also find oneself lacking the necessary information and understanding of the intelligent common sense. Then one says which belief is true, or which belief is not, or which is belief, which is not belief, you see. So there are, and what is there to be understood without having to create any new things to understand, new ideologies, that what is there available to be understood must be understood properly, so that all of these other speculations and preoccupations do not need to be entertained. So from that point of view. And the second question is related, as Eminence feels, to the first one, in that there is in our experience of our life, we don't recognize such potential because there is simultaneous ignorance along with having this potential. There is simultaneous or co-emergent.
This is the concept of the pena tanda jetang and dosha shetan timula so tinsu khaim bati dadun zimba tinsu khaim bati teres kundag mar pasires tanje ge marik basinge de khain na kora nisun zimbe ge nawati tanje ge marik batis.
And there is two aspects of mental obscuration, delusion in that. One is the experience of different conflicting emotions, such as attachment, aggression, and ignorance, and a referential sort of clinging. There is notion of reference and clinging to it, objects of attachment, object of aggression, object of indifference, and so reference and clinging. So from a labeling point of view, but there is one which is co-emergent or simultaneous in that our experience of our life altogether is from the point of view of clinging. It's like clinging outlook.
To be honest.
So this clinging outlook is what obscures.
Yeah, that tamadina.
Okay, please, the last question.
Do you know, does Rinpoche know if this text has been translated into English? Is it, if it's available somewhere?
Your maris.
I don't think so.
Inayang, when a gulama yormas. Gulama. Inayang gulama yores. Then it tini saveke tiki kasurati, gulama japshun ravareta.
But the Uttara Tantra Shastra is translated, see, and essentially the same. What is being presented is the same. So one supports the other. In that way, for further clarification.
Is the Uttara Tantra Shastra is there a difference from the different lineage points? Is there a translation that is particularly high lineage translation?
That Dylan Drevang and to Gajuchone, Namulot Taik Sunjo. The ton and then you came to some Jazu Suni to say on the other eyes. That's a way again, but that Jitang Jibares, and that's Gajuchone
here. Within the Kagyu lineage, the commentary on the Uttara Tantra Shastra is by the first Jamgön Kontrül, the commentaries. And also, His Eminence understands recently Khenpo Tsultim Gyamtso made further, through his teachings, made further commentaries on it. And which is translated. And there are a number of commentaries. Essentially, it's the same. The number of commentaries, for instance, by Mipham or Jumipam, by Dolgopa. And Jumipam is one very renowned scholar from the Nyingma lineage. and one great scholar by the name of Dolpo Penchen, and a commentary by him too. The one who has been very important in upholding of the Shentong view, emptiness of others view, tradition.